Welcome to another episode of the Fruitful Fertility Co. podcast. I have another pregnancy success story here for you today. We have Jill Minks. She is from Tennessee, a mom of three boys, an occupational therapist, and a UGC creator. So she wears a lot of different hats. But I wanted her to come on and share her story with you today because it's such a good one. And just seeing her perspective of someone who was dealing with cycle issues and then navigating trying to get pregnant after dealing with cycle issues. So we're going to let Jill jump in. Jill, thank you so much for being here and tell us a little bit about your main symptoms, hormone and cycle wise.
Okay, I'm excited. I've been following your Instagram page. I love sharing all of your stuff.
I
So
know. I'm like Jill's like my one of my
I'm your
biggest
biggest.
fans too.
Um, so ever since I was a teenager and my periods started, they were just really irregular. They never really caught on to any sort of predictability. So I would go months between periods, never know when one was coming. A lot of times they were heavy when I was younger. I struggled also with like cramps and soreness. Um, I I this was probably hormonal too, but I also felt like I was a little on the heavier side, like weight wise. And then I started developing migraines, which they do run in my family. My mom and dad both get migraines, but I especially noticed them right before I would get my periods. And I was getting those pretty regularly up until 2 years ago. Um, and so yeah, that was pretty much my hormone life for
Yeah.
decades.
Yeah, the migraines before the period is one that I see fairly often. When you were dealing with that, did you go to the doctor and ask about that? Did they give you any answers or, they give you migraine medication or did they link it to your period at all? Or was it just something you were like, this is just the way it is?
I never really went to the doctor. My mom was a nurse and then she became a nurse practitioner. So we kind of just keep everything in-house.
Yeah, that's how it is here. I'm a nurse, so it's like my kids almost never go to the
Yeah.
doctor.
Um, so I kind of just dealt with it.
Mhm.
Around that time I would just take medicine, be out for a day or two, and I never
Yeah,
really
it's just,
went and sought many answers for that particular issue.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like sometimes we have symptoms and it's like we just accept that that's the way they are. And especially certain things like painful periods or heavy periods we're told are normal when really they're not normal. They're just common. So we don't really seek answers because we don't even know that that's not a normal thing. Um, so yeah, so irregular periods, heavy cramps. What happened when you decided, or at what age did you decide you want to get pregnant and what did you do when you wanted to get pregnant? Were you worried that your periods were an issue or had you been on birth control or yeah, the start of your journey look like?
Um, my husband and I got married when I was 23, and I did get on birth control for a little while. Um, I hated every one of the ones that I tried. I I know now what it was linked to, but um, a lot of them, like the combo ones, would make me feel really nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to come off of that, and I tried some progesterone only ones, and those gave me other symptoms. And then I tried another one that's like a ring,
Mm-hmm.
and it was fine for a while, and then I started feeling anxiety. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with birth control. So I got off of that, and we waited 5 years before we started trying to get pregnant. I was in graduate school and just life. So I was 29, and we decided we were going to start trying, and I got my hormones tested, and I remember that it showed my progesterone was pretty much tanked. I had higher levels of estrogen, and I want to say my testosterone was off too, just kind
Mm-hmm.
of a mess. Um, so I tried progesterone cream, and it made me feel like a crazy person. And I tried something else that was supposed to be a little more natural to like boost progesterone. Um, and I can't remember what it was called. But just, yeah, I tried a few different things. I started learning a little bit more about, tracking ovulation and ovulation strips and that whole journey. Um, so it took us 6 months to get pregnant with my first boy. And yeah, I never really thought my cycles would be an issue. I probably should have because they were obviously off. But once we like actually started planning and trying, I definitely started feeling like maybe this isn't going to happen. Maybe we shouldn't have waited so long.
Mm-hmm.
This is taking a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. And, when you're not trying to get pregnant and you see pregnancy announcements, you're like, oh, fun for them. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. But then when you are trying and people
Mm-hmm.
it's like you start noticing how many pregnancy announcements are
Yes.
up, and you're like, wow, I wonder how long they tried. Did they have any problems? Because you see their highlight reel of getting pregnant
Right.
and you're thinking, why isn't that me? When's mine coming? So that was definitely the beginning of me trying to understand, cycles and getting pregnant and that sort of thing. So,
Do you,
yeah, sorry.
no, did you feel like, so you took 6 months to get pregnant with your first, did you feel like when you came off, or first, was when you came off birth control, were your periods pretty regular or were they still irregular? And by the time you got pregnant, had they regulated or were they still irregular?
That's a good question. I think they were more regulated when I was on birth control, like while I was on it.
Mm-hmm.
But we know now that's not a real period.
Right. Like what we know now.
Um, so they were predictable.
Hmm.
And then when I came off of them, I actually was looking back at because I have the one of the apps where you track everything. And I was looking back and they were still lengthy. Like have never been one where it's like it's this day every single month, like
Yeah.
on it was like 38 days, 35 days, 32 days, 40 days. It was still jumping around a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, which also puts me in the category of, late ovulation. So I'm not even an average there, which is
Yeah.
to track. So I wouldn't say I was getting them, once every, I don't know how long that is, like 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, so it wasn't going months between, but it still wasn't really regulated.
Yeah, like in a quote unquote normal
Hmm.
window. And I think that's cool to know because I think sometimes we think we have to have a perfect cycle to get pregnant, and I see people get pregnant on all kinds of crazy cycles, like short, long, and yes, there is a goal. We are aiming for like 27 to 33 days is really the goal we're looking for. And if your periods are longer or shorter than that, then we are aiming to get in that window, but to know that God can do so much more than numbers on a calendar. So I love that too, that it was kind of like, well, it still wasn't quite right. And I still got pregnant because sometimes we think we're only going to get pregnant if we fit in these parameters. And that's just, that's not how pregnancy works. Pregnancy is just a wild miracle. So that's cool to know. So what about, so me and Jill found each other because we both love Frequents. We both take Rise and Source and are both affiliates for them. So Jill, tell us how you found Rise and Source and how your um, next pregnancy. So we had another son, and then we're coming up on trying to get pregnant the third time, and now you have Rise and Source. So how did you find it, and how was trying to get pregnant while using these products different from your previous experiences?
So I found Frequent through a friend online who I was in a different business with. So she started sharing about the company. Um, I didn't really know much about the products. kind of like you, I was a little skeptical, like I don't understand what this means frequent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I was kind of jumping in because I trusted that friend and I was looking for another online business. So I didn't really go into trying the products with
Yeah.
much expectation.
Yeah.
Um, but I was only taking Rise and Source for 2 months before I got pregnant with my third. And my husband and I had decided that we were going to try for our third. Not really as intentionally as with our first two. We were just saying, we feel like maybe there should be another in
Mm-hmm.
our family, and we kind of were just casually, if it happens, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But there were several times throughout the year that we didn't get pregnant, and then my cycles were still kind of wacky. But anyways, yeah, 2 months of Rise and Source, and both of those cycles were 28 days, and I did not have a migraine, which was a miracle in itself.
Yes.
Anyone who has migraines knows. Um, and, at the risk of sounding TMI, which
This podcast is all
we
about
can't,
TMI. We want the details.
um, I felt like my libido was a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I felt like my ovulation was a little bit more on a normal timeline, and like cervical mucus
Mm-hmm.
was better,
Mm-hmm.
healthier.
Yeah.
So,
When you're tracking all those things so intently, which, everyone listening to this podcast is, it's like you notice that. Like
yeah.
you're like, I know my cervical mucus was different, was better, was, heavier, whatever it is. Because you track everything so specifically.
Yeah. Um, so when I got pregnant, the second full month of using the products, I was like, what?
Yeah.
This is crazy. So I was really excited about that. And I don't know if you want me to share it all about like using them during pregnancy or not, but
Yeah,
um,
well, I think that's a great question because I do have a lot of people in my client base that'll take the products, they get pregnant, and then they're like, Tori, do I keep taking this or do I not? And I think there is, as you know, there's a lot of fear around taking products when you're pregnant because if you get on Google and all the things, it'll just say there's not enough evidence to support using it or not using it. So it's not that necessarily it's harmful. It's just that there's no proof that it is or isn't, and you know, I tell everyone that this is not medical advice. Anyone listening to this is not medical advice, but in my personal opinion, you already started taking it to get pregnant. It helped you get pregnant. It's something your body obviously needs. And there's nothing on the label that is specifically contraindicated in pregnancy. So it's to each their own, do your own research, make your own decisions. But I think absolutely if you speak to I tell everybody to swap to caffeine free and keep going.
mhm. Um, I think that it definitely helped me with my nausea levels.
Hmm.
I still got nauseous, but it was way more manageable than my first two pregnancies. I ended up taking prescription nausea meds for my first two pregnancies and was still nauseous.
Hmm.
Um, and with this, I think because of the B vitamins, and also I think I read some research about offloading your liver before you get pregnant. And, obviously having the minerals and things, I think my body was more supported in a healthier state
Hmm.
that I did not have as many symptoms as before.
Yeah.
So I think it is, it is just crazy the difference um, in because, I have two others to compare it to.
Yes.
Um, and then obviously the first trimester is a struggle if you've ever been pregnant. Um, But in general, my energy levels were better. And mood, all the things that it supports. And then postpartum, I kept using it postpartum, obviously, and having those minerals and the nootropics and the vitamins, it just really puts your body in a different place
It
than
really does.
without it.
I say that all the time too, that like getting pregnant naturally, it's not for the faint of heart because it's a lot of questions, a lot of small steps, a lot of, it's it's not like going to the doctor and scheduling a procedure. It's like it takes time and I know that that's like an emotional struggle, like taking the time to slow down and do it naturally. But when you do and you get pregnant that way, there's so much benefit to it because one, you've made your body a safe place. Now your body is in a healthier state to house a child, to literally growing a human. It's like the way you feel is so different. You're perfect evidence of that. It's like you could tell a difference in your pregnancies based on just where your body was. I mean, and we could even say like frequency wise, it's like health wise, frequency wise. And I had a very similar situation where when I started Rise and Source, my cycles had gotten down to 24 days. They'd gotten real short. And I was having spotting before every period, like clockwork. I mean, I knew my period was coming because I'd spot for about 3 days before my period started, which I knew was a sign of low progesterone. And I knew, like, I'm a nurse, I'm a fertility coach. I know what to do for low progesterone, and I wasn't taking very good care of myself the way I should have been. But then after taking Rise and Source, it was right at 2 months that I was taking it that all of a sudden my spotting stopped. My like the soreness in my breast was gone. My period was 28-day cycle, and it's been that way every day or like every cycle since. It's wild to me. Like sometimes I still track my cycles, even though I'm not actively trying to get pregnant. I still track them and just keep an eye on them. But every now and then, my period will kind of surprise me because I'm like you, like mine's never like on day 28 every single time. Sometimes it's 28, sometimes it's 29, sometimes it's 30. It's kind of right in that little window. But sometimes it'll surprise me because I will have zero symptoms before my period comes. Zero. And used to, I didn't even have to track it on my calendar because my boobs would always tell me. My boobs would be so sore that I'm like, oh, well, my period's coming, I know. But now it still surprises me, like, oh, yeah, okay, it is that time because I have zero symptoms. And it's just crazy to me. So it's just really neat to see what these products can do. And I also love that you found them not even for that, but you found Frequence as a business opportunity and then what it did for you and your family in this way because I just, God's
Hmm.
just such a cool God because he can use anything. Like you're not even looking for it. It's just a business opportunity. You're like, yes, I'd love to bless my family in this way. This company sounds cool. My friend who I love and respect is working for this company, so maybe I'll partner with them too. And then it to turn into this story. You just never know how he's working in your life. So that's a really neat story. I love that. Well, what would you tell, Jill, what would you tell the woman that's listening to this who, like, let's say she's in your shoes. So she's been trying around 6 months. She's starting to get worried, wondering what's wrong. Note, like you said, noticing those pregnancy announcements and wondering when her turn is going to be and how long this is going to take. What is the main thing you would want for her to take away from this conversation?
When you asked me that question, well, first, when I was thinking about even being on your podcast, I was like, Lord, I don't quite feel qualified to be talking about this.
Mhm.
And I love encouraging other women, but sometimes I just question, like, what do I have,
Hmm.
to say? And so I was just praying on the way here, to just for the Lord to show me what he would like me to say. And one thing that came to mind that I looked up was the verse in Isaiah 60:22, and it says, "At the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen." And and then I wanted to read a little bit of what the description underneath it says, because I think it could be encouraging to somebody. It just says this verse serves as a deeply comforting reminder that you do not have to stress or force your path into place, and that every waiting season and delay has a purpose, and what is meant for you will find you right on time. You don't have to compare your journey to anyone else's or scramble to earn what has already been assigned to you. God's plans are intentional and he is never late. And I just loved that. And
Hmm.
it can really apply to anything. For the longest time, this is a tangent, but for the longest time, we had to wait to own our own home, and it felt like it was never going to happen. We almost bought a house once, and we decided not to. We didn't feel peace about it, and then it was another 2 years after that until we bought our house that we live in now. And God just makes a way, and if we are faithful to trust in Him and to give Him our hurts and our desires and our questions, and surround ourselves with people of like-mindedness and who have the faith that maybe we don't have. So, like listening to your podcast, um, or having a close friend to pray with you. I think all of those things are really what we need in place while we're waiting. And then when it is our time, we will be able to look back and see all of the ways that he was in our story. And then our story will become encouragement for somebody else. So that's kind of what I wanted to share.
Yeah, that's
Um,
beautiful. I love that. I love like there I'm gonna have to go back and re-listen to this like after we put the recording up because there was so much in that description, so much goodness. You do not have to force it. What is meant for you will always find you because it is so hard. Like I would say 90% of my clients are control freaks, as am
mhm.
I. And when we make goals and then we make a path to get there, that's what we're kind of putting our hope and trust in just as human beings. Like we know as Christians our hope and trust should be in the Lord, but living in the real world it's hard for us not to try to control the situation and control the outcomes. And even a lot of times when I get on calls with people that want to do the program and I'm making sure we're a good fit. I'm like, I cannot guarantee you a pregnancy, like in any way, shape, or form. And it's like people know that, but they also don't know that because we are trying to control the situation. And it's so hard to let go of that. So I think that reminder was perfect because when we do get nervous, why is this not happening? Why is everybody else getting pregnant? It's so easy to continue to go down the forceful road, buy another supplement, get another test done, do another thing and another thing and another thing when there are times and places for movement, but we still have to come back and know that the Lord will make it happen when the time is right. And like you said, like there's a purpose to every waiting season. And so, I get stuck on the like, is God making you wait or is he not making you wait? I don't know, but I do know that he will use that season for something. There's a lesson there. And it's like, okay, so what can I focus on? Is it my marriage? Do I need to, work on communication with my husband? Is it a house? Like maybe we're stuck in limbo on a house situation, like you were mentioning. It's like, what else can you look at to prepare your home for this baby that you're asking for? Like, go ahead and know that God's already taken care of it and it's going to make it happen in the perfect timing. So start preparing for it and putting your energy in that. But yes, I absolutely love that description. And I'm definitely going to pull that from the transcript when this podcast goes live and use it because that's so good.
Okay.
So good. Jill, where can everyone find you if they want to come check you out and hear more?
I am pretty active on Instagram. So my username is Jill_Minks. And I would love to connect. I share everyday life, mom stuff.
Mhm.
My life is crazy with 3 boys, homeschooling, content creation, all the things. But yeah, I would love to connect.
Well, and I will have that linked in the show notes for you guys. And Jill, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your story.
Thanks for having me.